Hello, everybody. Good afternoon. Welcome to JoyNews today. We're live from our studios here at Kokomlemle in Accra. My name is Kenneth. Jesse, we are your home of independent, fearless, and credible journalism. And coming up this afternoon, President Mahama worried about rising chieftaincy, land and ethnic disputes across the country, describing them as a major headache for government and a strain on the nation's security agencies.
It's resulting as a result of disagreements, first and foremost to do with chieftaincy. It is putting a lot of pressure on our security services.
More as he reveals that some of the recommendations soon to be submitted by the Constitution Review Committee may appear radical, but the justification behind them is compelling. We're in Pandai as residents get ready for a rerun of the parliamentary elections on December 30th.
So about 20 able to abandon.
Meanwhile, former Vice President Mahmoud Baumia says government is undermining Ghana's institutions of democracy in ongoing Pandai seats brouhaha.
Very, very disappointed in what is going on in our country. It looks like our institutions of democracy and our tenets of democracy are being undermined.
Elsewhere in the Ashanti region, Kumasi gets ready to bid farewell to legendary high life musician Daddy Lumba in what they describe as a festival of grief and celebration. But here in Accra, some families are asking the court to prevent the release of his body for burial. We got the latest of these and many other stories, including business, sports, world news, and showbiz coming up in the next 1 hour. Don't go anywhere. Hello again. Let's begin this afternoon's broadcast from the seat of government, where President Mahama has decried the rising number of ethnic, land and chieftaincy disputes across the country, describing them as a major headache for government. Speaking during a courtesy visit by the National Peace Council, he said the conflicts are exerting significant pressure on the security agencies who have been deployed to maintain peace in various hotspots. He stressed the need to adequately resource the National Peace Council to help address some of these disputes.
All of us are concerned about the proliferation of conflicts across our country. There's a rising intolerance, you find, and it's resulting as a result of disagreements, first and foremost to do with chieftaincy. It is putting a lot of pressure on our security services. A lot of our security services are tied down in conflict areas. I mean, Sampa, we have a whole contingent there. You go to Nkwanta, we have a whole contingent there. You go to Boko, we have a whole contingent there. Recently, Savannah, we had a whole contingent there. We've not withdrawn them yet. And yet there are so many of these, all over the country. They have to do with ethnic disputes, have to do with land disputes. And it's become a major headache for government. And so that's why we need to resource the Peace Council, to be able to carry out its mandate.
Well, the president also addressed ongoing work by the Constitution Review Committee. He said that some proposals being considered by the committee might appear radical, but said there are strong justifications for them. The committee is expected to present its report on December 22nd.
And they met me 2 weeks ago and gave me a presentation of some of the findings they were going to make. Yeah, quite interesting. I was sworn to silence. And they intend to present the final report on the 22nd of December. And so once the final report is presented, we would, make it known to the rest of the nation. And so I should hold my peace. I don't want to be like my daughter, who I reached an agreement with her not to let her mother know something. And then her mother came and we were sitting and she said, Friday said, Daddy, I want to tell Mommy. I said, oh, but we agreed that you won't tell Mommy. I said, that is not me, it's my mouth. My mouth is saying that I should tell. You know, and so my mouth is telling me to tell, but I'll hold my peace till 22nd. When I receive the report, I'm sure we'll publish it and everybody will get to know. I think they've done a fairly good job. Some of the, amendments seem quite radical, but I do think that the justification behind them would make Ghanaians understand the need for us to do what we have to do.
President Mahama further warned that terrorist activities in the Sahel are just across Ghana's border, close to the area affected by the Boko conflict. He said that although Ghana has not recorded any attacks, the country cannot assume immunity from the threats in the sub-region.
The issue of the Sahel, it continues to be a major problem. Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger. And these are our northern neighbors. And so we need to keep an eye on what happens there. Incidentally, the violent extremism and the jihadists and whatever is happening there is just on the border where we have the difficulty with the Boko affair. And so it makes us vulnerable, when you have a conflict or crisis in an area that is so sensitive, in terms of our security of our national territory. And that is why it is important for us to, try and get a handle on the Boko issue as quickly as possible. I want to express my appreciation to the Otumfuo for the role that he has played. And so we have to be prepared. We haven't had any direct confrontation from any of the violent extremists, but it's not a question of if, it's a question of when, because, we cannot say we are immune to what is happening there. And that's why we need to prepare our security services so that they can defend the country in case of any incursion. And so recently we've started a retooling of the security services. We acquired some armored vehicles for the police. We're doing same for the Air Force.
Let's head to the northern region now, where residents of Pandai say they are eagerly waiting for the rerun of its parliamentary elections days after a Tamale High Court ruling. Well, the Electoral Commission on Wednesday scheduled the rerun for December 30th, following a notification from Parliament declaring the seat vacant. Both the governing National Democratic Congress and opposition New Patriotic Party in the constituency say they are ready for the elections. More from the parties. But first, let's hear from the Pandai residents.
So about 20 able to abandon. And I may bomb by into and I said, Bibia, may show you on Queen, no Bibia, I don't know, a draw. Bibia on to Abama, the power of Penal. Because young Pebas have a sour.
Yepe. Send the young advantage, say, Babette to Abasim. I say, Gimana, Yepen, Esomuye, and my.
Try to my MP, a barber, Banawa, Pandai development. So, yes, from me a form of chop. If they don't do any name free name got to a ban, MP or wait market up Pandai development.
Pandai is not going to be the first or the last ever run a run. Our constituency, and to say, fine, we are going to vote. And the Meshrane so dear obey PB and Uncle Tunaba in peaceful.
Because we know as the law from above, or when to me, I say, young to me to about it. And then here is you of Bumha. Until Abana they will say to Obiana Butanade, yes, I'm got to Utuma MP, Opa, that very no circle, what's a got Traman. Why Utuma and the C candidates who are now I then, no about Traman and all for Friday, after that's wet.
Metunam we yesika. Omumwaye no ma dada ya che MPP ne ndisi fo. MPP ba first camera ndisi ba mo first camera na yesi.
Those are some of the views of residents in Pandai. We can now hear from both the NDC and MPP in the Pandai constituency.
day na yɛde asɛm no kora de kɔɔ court na yɛde ka say even 3 days and also 1 week kora na say electoral commission for ba ever share date say yankwa aba we are full prepared nti endra a date no by free endra ekopim 30th na 20 days and I think say enough as a political party say ebetimi a campaign no we need a seat so nti any problem
the surprise I can say surprise there then is understatement sans near course no nyina election way in Pandai a state sponsored election our person mun chinchim horal matunyin damsa NG signal friend sir so share the procedures no nyina there hey no surprise sans dana mo declare the seat vacant and the next 2 days time on the electoral commission as shared date 30th yanko tuaba so hey na surprise this kind of decision is happening to Honorable Matthew Dam at this material movement. Now questions are be some say Honorable Matthew Dam dear are there no all different runner the ruling on the case and now a previous imbra they ruling on Wulensi Samuel Nimakan case no. Is it the same thing I do ruling Abu Sakandi dear no and that is the same thing I do really on Jachikwes in dear no.
In a related development, former Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia says the Electoral Commission's decision to schedule a rerun of the Pandai parliamentary election undermines Ghana's democratic institutions and ignores ongoing legal processes involving the new patriotic party's Matthew Nyindam.
The least very, very disappointed in what is going on in our country. It looks like our institutions of democracy and our tenets of democracy are being undermined. The issue of Pandai with Matthew Nyindam is not a new issue in our democratic politics. You've had issues with Dana Bodakpi, you've had issues with Tejikwesen, in Asin, and basically you've had the House allow the court and the legal processes to take place and be exhausted before state institutions are stampeded into acting in ways that undermine democracy. Matthew Nyindam should be given his day in court. He has filed appeal processes at the High Court. He has filed for a judicial review at the Supreme Court, and none of those cases has been adjudicated. So why the rush? Why the indecent haste? I think that he's being railroaded. I think that this undermines our institutions of democracy. I think that we should take a halt to these processes and allow him to have his day in court, just as others have done in the past. The House has never really rushed in this way when it came to the other cases. What is the difference with the case of Matthew Nyindam? I think it should not be this case. I think we should uphold the tenets of democracy. Democracy is something precious that we've all had and we've all subscribed to. When you start undermining its pillars, you break it down, and the consequences for the nation are very severe. And so simply because you have power, you shouldn't feel that you can ride roughshod over your opponents and over the principles of democracy. And so I stand with the principles that are being espoused by the minority in Parliament.
To Parliament now, where Majority Leader Mahama Yarga and Chief Whip Roxanne Nelson Dafiamakpo have drafted a private members' bill seeking to repeal the Office of the Special Prosecutor Act and abolish the OSP. The draft proposes that Act 595 be fully repealed with all regulations, functions, assets, liabilities, and funds of the OSP transferred to the Attorney General and the Ministry of Justice. OSP staff will also be absorbed under the terms not less favorable than they currently enjoy, while ongoing investigations and prosecutions would continue under the Attorney General's authority. Well, the draft bill, yet to be formally laid before Parliament, comes on the same day President John Dramani Mahama stated that it is premature to call for the abolition of the OSP, insisting the office remains important to Ghana's anti-corruption framework. Joining us now on Zoom is the Director of Policy Engagements and Partnerships at CDD Ghana, Dr. Kujo Pumpuni. Asante. Dr. Asante, glad you could join me this afternoon. In a social media post, you described the bill as a betrayal of trust if it goes through. Why do you say so?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear.
Good afternoon, and thanks for the opportunity. Yes, I think it's a betrayal of trust because I think the NDC's commitment to fighting corruption, as far as we all understood and read, did not include scrapping the OSP. I think the OSP was actually seen as one of the key agencies that needed to be strengthened to continue to fight corruption. So, I mean, the arguments that have been made so far for why all of a sudden it is an imperative to get rid of the OSP is untenable. And I haven't heard any argument that justifies the just sudden decision of Parliament to make this a priority.
Talking about having not heard any convincing argument, they argue, though, that the budget given to the OSP versus the results are a mismatch, and also the fact that they feel the Attorney General's department can equally execute the work that the OSP is currently doing.
So I think on the budget matter, it has already been shown that the statement that it is equivalent to that of the AG is not correct. I think that has been proven. But I've also made the case very clearly that this is an OSP that is setting up a new office. It got its main budget in 2022. It's used, the time it actually starts operations, really, you have to talk about 2024. So the argument that somehow it's been given all this money, it's not using the money to just do prosecutions. It's using the money to build that office.
Okay.
And then also the point that was made about, I think your second point, sorry, I missed your second point.
That's the Attorney General equally being capable of doing the work.
Yes, I mean, so we evolved to set up the economic crimes and economic and organized crimes office, the same way in which we thought that for such specialized, you needed a specialized agency to handle it. It's the same thing that we came to when it came to corruption, all the way from the Africa peer review mechanism point in 2004. So we've traveled a long way to come to that conclusion that we need to hive off the prosecutorial functions in relation to corruption to a specialized agency. And this is what has been done all around the world. So this going back, this will be complete reversal of almost a 20-year development that we've all worked very hard to get to this point.
The majority leader, Mahama, has been consistent in his push for the repeal of the Office of the Special Prosecutor. In fact, even the Speaker of Parliament, Alban Bagbin, also supports that case. Is there something that is very peculiar they're seeing for them to be calling for the repeal of the OSP that the rest of the CEOs, including yourself, do not see?
I think, their arguments have been based on the constitutionality of it. But as I said, the imperative of having an independent prosecutor to handle corruption for politically exposed persons, that has been long settled, as I said, all the way from the Africa peer review mechanism time, where we're talking about separating the Ministry of Justice from the Attorney General. So that imperative, I think, is very clear, and President Mahama mentioned that also. So the issue they have talked about was constitutionality. And my argument is that then why the rush? We are going to have a constitutional review process.
Right.
This is the opportunity for Parliament and all of us to come to an architecture that we feel represents what is happening all across the world in terms of really tackling corruption. And let me say this, what actually really hurts me the most is that I cannot see why our politicians don't recognize the danger that political corruption is causing to, this country. And that even instead of focusing on helping to tackle that problem, they are doing things to rather undermine it. So that is what actually really worries me, that why this focus when there's so much to do next year on constitutional review and COPO bill and all of these things that will actually strengthen the fight against corruption.
There's another group of individuals who are rather calling for the special prosecutor, Kisia Jabin, to be expelled from the office. They want the office maintained, but with a different person heading that office. Is that an opinion you subscribe to?
Well, I think, I mean, the rules, even in the OSP Act, is very clear that if citizens have any issues, they feel they have concerns about the integrity of the person holding the office, they can send petitions. And I think people have already done that. So there's a mechanism for dealing with that. The OSP has already been subjected to such petitions in the past, and it didn't succeed. So I don't think anybody can take away people's decision that they think that the person is not fit for the office. And I mean, so as for that, nobody can resolve that. But I just think that this office, as a new office, it is building its capacity. The fact that for me, there is this eagerness to get rid of it, even before it can be take its roots, tells me that we even need the office more.
Dr. Kojopu Mpuni-Asante, thank you very much. He's the Director of Policy Engagements and Partnerships at CDD Ghana, speaking to us. Let's head straight to the Ashanti region now, because Kumasi is bracing up for what many predict will be one of the largest emotional gatherings in the city's history, as thousands prepare to bid farewell to high-life icon Charles Kojofosu, popularly known as Daddy Lumba. Well, the anticipation is so intense that the fans of the musician say it will be a festival of grief and celebration, pledging their full participation in honor of the man whose music became the soundtrack of their lives. Here's a report by Clinton Yeboah.
The streets of Kumasi have already begun filling with emotions and billboards as music lovers reminisce Lumba's lyrical influence, his uplifting melodies, and the deeply personal stories embedded in his songs. Fans say his music shaped their youth, healed their heartbreaks, inspired them through difficult moments, and provided soundtracks for their victories. Many have announced plans to storm the Kumasi Sports Stadium dressed in traditional funeral clothes, breezy and kobini, to show their final respect and affection.
Girls Lumba. I love him. Look at how we mourned him during the 1 week observation of his death. I am rocking live to the funeral in full force. We will turn the place upside down.
I've been listening to Lumba since I was a child. His lyrics in the Miyaka Kwentum song is something I identify with. That is why I love him. But amid the enthusiasm, some fans remain unsettled by recent disagreements among factions of the family that resulted in a legal battle. They are calling for calm and unity to preserve the dignity of the funeral celebration.
One funeral, and there's so many issues. I doubt it may even come on Saturday, but if it does, I will be there.
The musician's funeral is slated on Saturday, 13th December 2025. The late musician's father has reinforced the approval, insisting that the burial will take place regardless of any differing opinions. In the video shared on Instagram, Kofi Owusu, the family head of the music icon Daddy Lumba, claimed that the Menhia Palace has given him the go-ahead to hold the musician's final funeral ceremony on the slated day.
Ayo, anope ko Menhia de. We were
not able to meet Otumfo, but we received confirmation and a go-ahead from elders who attended to us at the Menhia Palace.
you know.
Meanwhile, with the expected record-breaking crowds, the Ashanti Regional Police Command and the family are yet to release a detailed security plan and administrative measures to manage the massive turnout. For Joy News, this is Clinton Yeboah.
Well, the death of the late music icon hasn't been without drama, though, because 5 individuals who identify as the immediate family of the late High Life legend Daddy Lumba have filed a writ at the Accra High Court to prevent the release of his body without their consent. The court is expected to make a determination on this issue later today.
Fans say his music shaped.
We'll be back from the break with more stories.
And provided.
Hi, good afternoon. Welcome to Business on JoyNews today. My name is James. To our very first story this afternoon. After years of battling the uncertainties that come with poultry farming, Lejokuku's best farmer, Mark Ajetekwe, says an insurance policy for the sector is critical to protecting livelihoods. He has been highlighting the financial vulnerability of poultry producers who need access to capital and support. There's more in this report.
Lejokuku municipality, encompassing Teshi in Greater Accra region, is primarily a fishing community, with many residents also engaged in livestock, poultry farming, and increasingly container gardening. At the 41st Farmers' Day themed Feed Ghana, Eat Ghana, Secure the Future, the municipality announced it will receive 10,000 beds as part of the government's nationwide distribution of 3 million beds to boost productivity. Farmers are encouraged to join the 4-year national program to transform the food system, reduce imports, and increase production of grains, vegetables, poultry, and livestock. Best farmer Mark Ajetekwe, who is into poultry, highlighted the need for incentives such as insurance and implementation of existing policies, having received a certificate, farming tools including tank, fridge, cutlass, among other assorted products.
Not just the loans that we want, but I'm very glad if there will be an insurance for the poultry farmers as well. No matter how big the premium will be, because it's a very risky business. So going forward, if they should encounter any risk or any problem, the insurance will come to your aid and be able to continue again. So apart from getting loans from the bank, I'm very glad if the government also come up with insurance policies for the poultry farms as well. Some few years back, they were trying to buy the like grower system, like we produce the broilers, and we were liaising with the abattoir so that they will come and pick them, slaughter them, and feed them with the cold stores. But we've had meetings upon meetings, we will not be able to come to any conclusion as to, in terms of that. So very glad if the company will come to our aid too, so that there will be outgrower system. As they are talking about this in Kitikiti, you will liaise with the abattoirs so that we'll be able to supply them, so they will take it to the cold stores to reduce the importation of the chicken.
Lejokuku Municipal Agric Director Dr. Rahel Khan urged residents to adopt container gardening and called for stronger government-private sector farmer collaboration to ensure food security and wealth creation.
We have a lot of crop farmers, we have a lot of people doing livestock. So because of the scarcity of arable lands in the municipality, we are gearing more towards container gardening. So you can see that more people in Lekma are planting any type of crop, any type of vegetable in containers. And they also sell this fresh to consumers. We also have a lot of people going into aquaculture because of the lack of arable lands. Container gardening is very, very beneficial and it is very convenient.
Meanwhile, Member of Parliament for the area, Benjamin Nate Aiku, encouraged youth participation in modern agriculture.
I respect your sacrifices and I stand with you. We will continue to push for better policies, improved equipment, modern fishing gear, cold storage facilities, financial support, and skills training to make your work easier and more profitable. To the youth here, Ghana needs you. Agriculture today is no longer about cutlasses and hoes alone. It is about technology, innovations in agribusiness, irrigation, agriculture, and value addition.
Paramount Chief and President of the Teshi Traditional Council, Betonlo Ni Ashite Akonfra III commended farmers for their role in the country.
Now, away from that to the insurance sector, Salam Alliance General Insurance Ghana Limited is hoping to expand its reach across the country with the opening of its newest branch at East Legon in Accra. The company plans to leverage its innovative insurance packages to increase insurance coverage nationwide. There is more in this report.
The opening of the new branch at East Legon is part of Salam Alliance's strategy to become one of the top 3 general insurance companies in Ghana. Salam Alliance General Insurance Ghana Limited offers a range of products including motor, home, travel and injury insurance. Speaking at the opening of its newest branch, Board Chairman of Salam Alliance General Insurance Ghana Limited, Rexford Adumakubonsu, said the new branch is expected to create employment opportunities and provide insurance services to individuals and businesses in the area.
You realize that most of the businessmen in this country live here. You realize that most of enterprise owners live here. Most transport importers and owners live here. Most factory owners also live here. So it's a great opportunity for the company to tap into this pool of business to be able to bring up the financial standing of the company.
On her part, Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of Salam Alliance General Insurance Ghana Limited, Mabel Nana Nyakwa Public, emphasized the company's commitment to providing financial solutions to Ghanaians.
But even more important is how we are able to take this out of just East Legon and to other locations, not only in Accra but across the country, and be able to offer a myriad of solutions. One of the things we've said is that we are looking and changing insurance by giving solutions that are everyday solutions, not the usually packaged kind of product, but we are looking at lifestyles, today's lifestyles. Business is dynamic, lifestyles are dynamic. How do we take those lifestyles and the risks they represent and bring it into insurance solutions? So that will be success, that we are able to do that fully across the country to make people feel comfortable to work with Salam Alliance.
The company has been providing insurance services in Ghana since its establishment and has a presence in 21 countries across Africa.
And that's all for business on Joy News today. My name is James Ishan. We're right back for sports.
Moving to sports now on Joy News today with me, Muftao Nabila Abdullah. A few days ago, the Ghana Football Association rolled out a policy that would ensure referees who are often the targets of hooligans during top flight competitions under the umbrella of the Ghana Football Association hitherto had no insurance cover. The GFA believes with such a move, the referees will now be encouraged to be firm with their decisions when officiating matches, and they have eulogized the football governing body for coming up with a policy that will ensure them when they are injured or attacked by hooligans during competitions under the umbrella of the Ghana Football Association.
Every week we travel, we leave our family at home and we travel. This puts a lot of pressure on us because traveling, going by road every weekend is just by the grace of God. Now I know that there is a policy there for me, so whenever I'm traveling, at least I have some confidence in me traveling. When I go for my match too, our matches involve a lot of chaos and other things. Going for a match, I know that if even something happens, there is someone there to hold me, or there is something there to hold me, so it will help me boost my confidence. And as I said earlier on, the counseling part also will help me psychologically to prepare for every match I go. So I'm happy about this policy. We, the referee, we really appreciate everything that they've done and they've been doing for us. We really appreciate, and for them getting this policy means they really think about us. They really think about our well-being, and we appreciate. And we promise that we are going to put our best out there for them.
This is a very professional move, I would say, from the Ghana Football Association, because it's, like I said in my recent submission, this is unprecedented. And referees, we have challenges financially when it comes to refereeing and even individual life. We have a lot of challenges. So with this policy, I think it's going to boost our morale, and then it will support us to also deliver for football. I wish I have so much words to say to the Football Federation for this great move, but all I can say is God bless them for such a wonderful move. And then, like I said in my previous submission, it should be something to go on with, so that every generation of referee who is in our position like this will also have a benefit from what policy has been raised like this.
Let's talk some para games now. Ghana participated in the West Africa Para Games in Abeokuta, Nigeria. The country won as many as 41 medals, and the president of the African Paralympic Committee, Samson Dean, praised the athletes for the performance they showed during the competition.
Today, I want to task all of you that you represented Ghana. You are back. And looking at all the contingent, if you take out the officials, you can see that every single member of the team has a medal. And that is credit. I am happy. Bocho Nkegbe made a statement. He said, some of you, that's the first time, and you've been able not to participate as tourists, because I've been saying this to Africans, that when we go to Paralympic Games, we go to World Championship, all we see it's about 3 African countries. If it is not Morocco, it is Egypt. If it is not Egypt, it is Tunisia. If it is not Tunisia, it is Sudan. If it is not Sudan, it is Algeria or Southern Africa. So can we also, as the Black African people, can we also achieve something? That is my aim. That is my vision. That is what I want to see. That we will go to championships, come with medals and not as tourists. I am happy that you did not go to disgrace Ghana. You have come with medals.
Our prayers. And yourselves, be continuously dedicated to what you are doing. You are heroes. There's no doubt about it. I can see medals, spread across. The Kaiba to London 2012 Olympics, I was with Raphael, okay? There he is. And the way he conducted himself, some of you were there, and he's come this far, and I know others are also going to get to that level. Commonwealth Games is around the corner. LA is around the corner. Your president said one thing. From his heart, from his pocket, he has done what he can. We also have to now push to make sure that the support that you need comes from all quarters, whether corporate Ghana or Abaying. We have to do that. It's a Mamonye disheartened.
Up next is World News. In world news this afternoon, a Kenyan court has suspended the implementation of a health aid deal signed with the U.S. last week over data privacy concerns. It follows a case seeking to stop the alleged transfer and sharing of Kenyans' personal data under the agreement. The interim ruling now bars Kenyan authorities from taking any steps to put the deal into practice. Since the deal with Kenya, Donald Trump's administration has signed similar agreements with other African countries as it overhauls its foreign aid program.
And thousands of people have been evacuated in the United States Pacific Northwest region after river levels reached record-breaking highs. Multiple flood alerts were in place as an atmospheric river, evaporated water carried by the wind, was forecasted to dump heavy rain over the region on Wednesday. We're back from this break with more.
And it's time now for Showbiz. I am Lois Shola Adeyemi, bringing you all the news happening in and around the world of entertainment. Now, Meraki Arts Africa has opened its third edition of the Zadokeli Festival with a vibrant fusion of creativity, cultural pride, and youth empowerment, drawing students and art lovers to the University of Ghana's ETS Drama Studio from December 8 to 14. In an interview with JoyNews, CEO Elom Anan and key facilitator Ajiti Anan shed light on the festival's purpose, challenges, and renewed mission to reshape perceptions about careers in the arts.
Meraki Arts Africa's lit up the University of Ghana campus once again with the third edition of the Zadokeli Festival. Launched on Monday, December 8th and running until Sunday, December 14th, the festival transformed the ETS Drama Studios into a hub of learning, performance, and artistic discovery. On Tuesday, December 9th, the festival grounds came alive. Students from various schools trooped in, ready to explore the many opportunities the creative industry offers. From workshops to exhibitions, every corner had something new to learn. Meraki Arts Africa CEO Elom Anan shared their heart behind this year's edition.
So Zadokeli has been happening for, in fact, this is the third one that we're having, but it's on a bigger scale this year. So in 2022 and 2023, we only had art and photography exhibitions. But this year we thought, why don't we add performances? Because that's who we are, really. And so we came to our Project School of Performing Arts and said that, look, we want to have exhibitions, but we also want to have performances. And so that's why we chose this venue. In a nutshell, it's a creative arts festival celebrating all forms of art, drama, dance, film, music, and then the photography and artwork that we originally started with. At the end of the festival, we want to showcase creativity at its best. We want people to see that Africa, Ghana, has got excellent world-class creative content to put out there on the stage.
Elom further explained the festival's purpose to change the narrative that white-collar jobs are the only path to success.
There's no way that anybody can stand anywhere and say that the creative space is not paying, because we have influencers and bloggers here, young people who are probably in senior high school, just finished senior high school, who are approaching us and charging us thousands of CDs to come and cover our event. It is paying. I was in the corporate world for 17 years. I left and came back to the creative space.
She then highlighted the day-by-day activities lined up for the week-long festival.
On Thursday, we have 2 stage performances, one by Noyam Dance Institute, which is a contemporary dance piece, beautifully curated for our audience. And then we have a drama performance. And then on Friday, we have the screening of a film, Last Stop, by Ananti Entertainment, directed by Kwabna Janta, featuring Ajiti Anan and Clemento Suarez.
On Saturday, we'll have the awards night as well, where we also honor some of our legends in the creative space who have contributed so much, inspired us even to do what we're doing today. So it continues from today right to Sunday, where we have the family buffet to round it up.
The celebrated actor Ajiti Anan encouraged more people to come through for the festival.
Please, Lee, you're missing out. You've got to be here. I mean, it's just gaining momentum after momentum. Schools are here, and it's an exciting time to be here. Whatever that you have, to come and explore what we have here. Very, very authentic stuff. Just unwind. Do something that you've not done before.
So do well to pass by and on Sunday. Zadokeli is still there for you. Now, moving away from that, award-winning comedian Jacinta closed out the year with her highly anticipated comedy special, Jacinta, the Fourth Runner, which blended fearless humor, storytelling, and music to delight audiences at the December Icon or the Icon Event Center on December 7. In an exclusive engagement, Jacinta shared her excitement about the turnout, reflected on the challenges of putting the show together, and spoke about thriving as a female comedian in a male-dominated space, while her colleagues and fellow entertainers praised her dedication and impact on Ghanaian comedy.
In a comedy scene where men have traditionally held the spotlight, Jacinta is making her mark.
You know, in this country, there are people I pray that they shouldn't go. Number one, Kennedy Japan. Because if something do this man, back up, it's over for everybody. All our secrets go down leak.
On Saturday, December 7th, she brought that energy to the Icon Event Center with a special Jacinta the Forerunner. From the moment fans settled into the seats, the room buzzed with laughter. Before the Queen stepped on stage, the audience was treated to performance from her fellow comedians, including General Tatia Foster Romanus.
I don't want to talk about MVP. I just want to tell you why I lost.
And many more. Speaking to Jacinta, she shared her excitement about the turnout.
It's a good feeling. I tried something new, and I think it worked, right? It did. It worked. The caliber of people who came out for me tonight shows that I'm doing a good work. If you're not doing a good work, people will not come and sit here on a Sunday evening. They have work tomorrow, and I'm happy to say that, given the chance, I would do it again.
Her colleagues praised her dedication and creativity, expressing excitement for being part of the event and applauding the effort she put into delivering a memorable show.
I've seen people come, leave, even with the guys. Some come, they leave, because it's quite challenging. And with the kind of critique you get from friends like, ooh, Jimmy, ooh, yes, say. And so for a lady to man up and say, I want to join all these guys and do this, I think she's done so well for herself.
Comedians used the opportunity to highlight the need for more support in the industry, urging corporate institutions and government to recognize comedy as a serious revenue-generating sector.
I will go straight up. I mean, it's sponsorship. It's always very difficult to get sponsorship to put up a show, which is very sad. I mean, I have done shows in Europe, played, you write and then you get funding. I don't know why it's difficult to get support in Ghana. I pray that the corporate Ghana can wake up and support us in any way that they can, so that we can also continue to lift the flag of Ghana high.
Right, that's how we wrap up Showbiz. I am Loishola Ademi. For more entertainment stories, please do log on to myjoyonline.com. Ken, are you ready for any more comedy shows this week?
Yes, I am. And congratulations to Jacinta. She's in a male-dominated field and she's killing it.
I mean, women keep going higher and higher.
Yeah, what men can do, women can do better.
Woo, go you!
And that's it for JoyNews today. Thank you very much for being a part of the show. For more news, you can log on to myjoyonline.com. My name is Kenneth Jesse. Have a good afternoon.